At the middle, a main duct is provided, and from middle various branches flows in particular direction, or it radial branches moves from here to here, or radial branches are provided to have radial flow of the duct fluid. Then another one, extended plenum system. This is the duct layout for extended plenum system. Here extension line is provided, or extension duct is provided. It is coupled with this machine which gives cold air or hot air, and it is distributed through these extensions at various places, place 1, place 2 and place 3. So with single machine at 3 places, the ducts are giving cold or hot fluids. Here flow rate is also indicated, 500 CFM, 500, 850, depends upon the available cross sectional area. This is also another example of extended plenum system like this. Now duct layout. This is a typical duct layout which shows that various elements are there. See here, this is a chiller water cooled shown over here. Here pump is drawn over here. Here valve is there. Flow direction is from here to here. Here flow is flowing in this direction. This is AHU, air handling unit. Inside this air handling unit, fan is provided. This is a fan which is provided inside this AHU. 3 air handling units are there. Here 4 AHU are there, AHU 1, 2, 3 and 4. And each AHU is connected like this. Here outside air enters over here, and filter is provided over here. You can see here 2 filters are there. Here also 2 filters are there. In each cases filters are provided. This is the symbol of cooling tower. So cooling tower is provided over here to cool the air or water or air, whichever fluid is used as a media, and this represents the coil. Here inlet and outlet symbols are there, and coils are provided over here. This coil may be cooling coil or it may be heating coil. So this is a particular duct layout. We do not need to remember this circuit. We need to remember the symbols. If we know the symbols, we can interpret any circuit. We can say that the circuit represents this kind of connections. Now another duct layout, it's a somehow complicated duct layout. We can interpret the meaning of each elements in this duct. This is a plant room. Here flow rate is given, that is 0.81 meter cube per second, 0.081 meter cube per second. So flow is in this yellow colored line from here to here, and here exhaust air is there, and here also flow is shown over here. This is a plan and this is sectional view. Here 150 by 150 mm extract duct from male toilet runs above ceiling and rising in shaft to roof plant room. It is shown over here. And here 2 numbers square ceiling grills in each toilet is provided. This is a male toilet, this is a female toilet, and each with plenum box with side outlet to suit 125 mm diameter flexible duct. It is shown over here. So this is the interpretation of the given duct layout. Next case of the duct layout like this. This is another case of duct layout. An isometric drawing of duct layout is shown over here. The name of each element is shown over here. This is stake head, A is stake head, B wall cap, C elbow and onwards, D, E, F, G, H. All elements are named over here: boot end, rain cap, fresh air intake, etc. So this is one isometric drawing of duct layout. To draw duct layout, various designing software are also available. This case is taken from one designed software. It is referenced at the last. Now duct criteria. How to select particular duct. three main criteria are used to select a duct. One is allowable noise. How much noise is allowed? If silent is allowed, then duct should be used of some different category. Then second criteria is operating cost. If frictional losses are allowed, then operating cost would be higher. If frictional losses are less, then operating cost would reduce. And initial cost. In case of the duct having lower frictional losses, the initial cost would be higher, and in case of duct having higher frictional losses, initial cost would be less. But in case of higher frictional losses, allowable noise will also increase. So to reduce the noise and operating cost, the initial cost would be higher in case of duct. Duct design. How to design the duct? So this diagram shows the design of duct as shown over here. Here direct 90-degree elbow is joined in the duct. This should not be done, because in these cases this is a wrong connection, because in these cases the loss of friction would be higher. So to reduce the loss of friction, here this kind of duct should be joined. Connection should be longer or radius should be higher. This is typical duct layout, long radius angles like this. This is preferable connection because in this case loss of frictional is less and here frictional losses is higher. So here 45-degree elbow is used, here 45-degree elbow is used. Of course here two elbows would be required, here 190-degree elbow is used. So initial cost of this design would be less and initial cost in this case would be higher because of connection of two elbow, but operating cost would be lower in this case, in second case, and in first case operating cost would be higher and frictional losses and noise would be higher in this first case. In the second case both would be less. So these are the design criteria for the duct. Another criteria for the duct: if duct is laid like this, in the first case foil or vinyl, if it is laid like this it may bend like this, it's a poor connection. If aluminum flex is better and PVC or galvanized is best, because if we provide support over here it will not bend. In this case it may bend after certain period of time. Initially this may not bend, but once heavy pressure or heavy fluid passes through this pipe or load increases, in those cases this may bend. So this is criteria for duct design. The sagging or waving of fan duct will increase static pressure and reduce fan's performance. Hence this is not a desirable condition, because if it is a waving or sagging, then load over fan would increase. Now duct design, types of ducts. This is the case which is used when using a flexible aluminum duct. If we use the second case, support the entire length of the duct with braces or hangers to keep it as straight as possible for the entire run. So if we use the second case, aluminum as a duct, it's needed to provide a full bottom support so that we can have this straight connection and lower initial cost benefit. Now zoning. What is zoning? Zoning means, this diagram indicates the zoning. In rooms or in some places zones are provided because in some places more heat generates and in some cases less heat generates. So to have even distribution of cooling air, zoning is done. Isometric views of duct. This is isometric view of duct. You can see here, this is the main supply line and these are the branches which give supply to various places. So with this centralized connection, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 number of places are connected with this single duct. Now one topic which remained skipped earlier, how to indicate welding symbols or welding process in the drawing, that we are going to discuss over here. Indicating welding processes, if all the joints are to be prepared by same welding process like this, if these two pieces are joined like this and here same welding is done, gas welding is done at both the places, then a general note specifying the process is made on the drawing like this. If both these joints are made with the gas welding, they are joined like this, draw this, write like this, 12 gas, 12 gas. It means that this connection is made with gas welding. If different processes are to be used like this, if this joint is made with gas welding and this joint is made with arc welding, then how to represent this process on the symbol. So basic symbols are drawn like this. Draw these two views, 12 fillet and gas and arc. Here 12 mm is the unit, so no need to write 12 again, but draw symbol of arc welding, write arc. It means that here gas welding is done and here arc welding is done. Now interpretation of process flow diagram and piping isometrics and pipe schedule chart. What is pipe schedule chart? What is interpretation of PFD and so on. Now what is PFD? A PFD means process flow diagram. PFD should include process piping, major equipment symbols, names and identification numbers, control valves, valves that affect operation of the symbol, interconnection with other systems. It should include major bypass and recirculation lines. It should include system ratings and operational values as minimum, normal and maximum flow, temperature and pressure. It also should include composition of fluid. Now what is PFD? This is a typical process flow diagram. You can see here from transfer pump P201 fluid comes over here. This is the valve and here fluid meets over here. Again from transfer pump P504 fluid comes over here. Here valve is provided, both meets over here, both gets mixes in M08 chamber and it goes to reactor R102. So this is a typical process flow diagram. This is the table to measure this process flow diagram for normal mode, maximum mode and minimum mode. Pressure, temperature and flow rate mentioned in this diagram over here, for normal over here, for maximum in this table and for minimum in this table. Now another process flow diagram in which various elements are drawn. It's a condenser, vacuum system. This is a tank which uses to combine these fluids, to mix up these fluids and so on. This is product storage. Isometric view of pipeline connection. Here flanges are there. These bolts and nuts are used to couple these flanges. With the help of flanges, it is coupled to this pipeline. So this is isometric view of coupled joint. Now what is pipe schedule chart? It is new to us. Pipe schedule chart means this chart indicates the size of pipe for particular parameters. NPS means normal pipe size. 1/8 means 8th part of 1 inch. 1/8. 6 is the DN number and outside diameter of 1/8 pipe is 0.405 inch or 10.29 millimeter is outside diameter. Inch is written over here and millimeter dimension is written inside this bracket. For wall thickness, schedule 5, wall thickness is 0.035 millimeter. So let me take one example. If NPS is 1 or 1 inch, its DN number is 25. We are discussing about this line. Then outside diameter is 33.40 millimeter and thickness of wall is 1.651 millimeter. So this is to be found from pipe schedule chart. So in short, pipe schedule chart gives us information about the size of the pipe, outside diameter, wall thickness, its DN number if we know NPS, that is nominal pipe size. Another pipe schedule chart. There are numerous of pipe schedule charts available free to us online. We can use it for non-professional purpose. Some questions which are important for this chapter. Show the symbols, methods of showing the location and size of the following welds using their symbols like this. These questions may be asked. We have to draw symbols and interpret in the drawing. Second question, draw freehand sketches showing how the following welding operations are indicated in engineering drawing. How to draw welding these symbols, that could be asked. Third question, draw examples of the following types of welds like this. Double J bolt weld. We have to show the examples and draw symbols of all these welds. Double J bolt, a double weld butt, a bead weld, a spot weld, a square butt weld like this. Now types of pipe. There are numerous types of pipe, stainless steel pipes and commonly used pipes. The last topic, that is commonly used pipe. For waste line, cast iron, PVC and chromed brass is used. For water supply, chromed copper, galvanized iron, copper, CPVC, PEX are used, and for gas supply, black iron is used. So these are the commonly used pipes. Now I will show you some important websites from which you can have better references for your study. These are the important websites: engineeringtoolbox.com, thomasnet.com, wisegeek.com, puretechltd.com, intertechfitting.com, articlund.com. I am thankful to all these websites for providing information to collect this preparation, and you can also refer these websites